Greetings. My name is Mark Miller, along with Jennifer Leonard. We're two students from Liberty University participating in Business 465, Importing and Exporting. We have chosen as a product of exportation a evolutionary identification device known as the MOB chip. The MOB chip is the size of a grain of rice. It can be inserted into many articles, in which we have chosen the purse, a woman's purse, due to the fact of increased crime opportunities in the European region. Jennifer and I have explored the evolution of the MOB chip and decided that we want to export that at the company that we've established known as L&M Exporting. We've identified market opportunities for the MOB chip to be inserted into the purse for three things it would facilitate. One, proper identification of the purse that the lady may choose. Many purses are high-valued purses. Second, for insurability, a high-valued purse can be insured for an amount that will cover the purse if stolen. And most importantly, it will serve as an identification device for customs officials throughout the European region. Example being, a purse that has identifier chip, the individual would submit the purse through customs inspection. Passport would solidify that the purse belongs to the individual. Most importantly, if the purse is not an official purse, meaning a knockoff, it would be easy to identify from customs perspective. So this is three strategic benefits that the MOB chip facilitates. The MOB chip is a very inexpensive piece of material designed through Intel manufacturing. Approximate cost is $25 to $50. That's going to depend on the vendor availability and implementation. Along with the market choice of Germany, the hand scanner, which facilitates identification of the inserted chip, is manufactured in Germany. It can be easily hand scanned, handheld device which wands over the purse. Once it wands over the purse, the identification numbers match the digital screen to the registration number of the purse.
After reviewing European robbery statistics presented by Eurostat.com and EuropeForVisitors.com, L&M was able to identify the market for the MOB chip. Robbery is a particular type of violent crime, defined as stealing by force or by threat of force. It includes mugging, bag snatching, and theft with violence. In recent years, a few countries recorded very large increases. From 2007 to 2012, the number of robberies more than doubled in Cyprus, Denmark, and Greece. Purse thieves frequently work in airports, train stations, subways, and other crowded public places, just as they do in many other countries. Additionally, purse snatchers may grab handbags, video cameras, laptop cases, etc., and escape on foot or by motor scooter. Next, we will identify the benefits of the MOB chip in two specific areas. In regards to the European Union, if you are traveling within the EU and many other countries in the world, a microchip for your purse is quickly becoming mandatory for insurance purposes, as many customs officers can use it to compare the purse they are scanning to the passport documents a traveler presents. In regards to custom benefits, if your purse has been registered, your purse will serve as an additional identification device. Secondly, due to fake goods being manufactured and sold, the microchip assists the customs officials in the defeat of trademark violations. As you can see, this image demonstrates the size of the microchip in comparison to a grain of rice. As provided by Eurostat.com, a 2013 European airport usage market analysis supports L&M's first destination preference for the MOB chip, as it is one of the busiest airports in Europe. That being said, London Heathrow maintains itself as the busiest airport in the EU 28 in terms of passenger numbers in 2013. Second is Paris's Charles de Gaulle Airport with 61.9 million passengers. Third is Frankfurt Airport with 57.9 million passengers. This is L&M's beginning choice for the MOB chip. Lastly is Amsterdam Schiphol Airport with 52.5 million passengers. International flights provide the overwhelming majority of passengers through the four largest airports in the EU. By contrast, national flights accounted for relatively high proportions of passengers on national flights to and from Paris-Orly, Roma Fiumicino, and Barcelona Airport. Furthermore, according to 2013 passenger transport statistics provided by Eurostat.com, there was muted growth of 0.7% in air passenger numbers in 2012, followed by a higher rate of change in 2013. In addition, the number of air passengers carried in the EU 28 in 2013 grew almost 5% higher than its pre-financial and economic crisis peak reached in 2008. In conclusion, we determined that this will be a great investment and export opportunity for L&M. Next, we will identify the L&M chip vendors. Currently, 4 companies manage the nanoscale of manufacturing the MOB chip. Extensive research has revealed that Intel currently manufactures the most reliable chip, i.e. the Intel RFID chip from the Dalian, China manufacturing plant. Custom duties, the import duty rate for importing digital chips into the United States is 0% when classified under Electronic Components Integrated Circuit with HS commodity code 85423100000. As for the pre-screening overseas vendor qualifications, privacy considerations when vetting third-party vendors, suppliers, and agents is and will be the paramount activity to be shared between a European Union authorized trade intermediary and L&M management. The monitoring of this activity lies directly on L&M's top-tier management and is paramount to the identification of rapid growth potential. In order to identify potential foreign buyers, L&M has chosen 3 preferred sources. The first is special missions. According to Nelson, these are organized and led by government officials with itineraries designed to bring you into contact with potential buyers and agents. The second is trade shows. Nelson states that trade shows include everything from catalog shows through local exhibits to major specialized international industry shows. At these shows, exhibitors offer literature and samples of their products. Lastly, L&M will utilize trade missions. According to Nelson, these are trips made for the express purpose of promoting and participating in international trade. State, province, and local governments organize several kinds of trade missions for exporters. Next, we will look at the pros and cons of each source. For special missions, the pros include a secluded market, a proprietary market, a direct relationship with government entities, and the vetting of appropriate vendors. The cons include a narrowing of market opportunities and possibly prohibiting consumer growth. For trade shows, the pros include vast consumer audiences. As for the cons of this trade event, growth can exceed control mechanisms and industry competitors can access the market. In regards to trade missions, the pros include a selective state, province, and government audience, assisted importation of product, and the vetting of appropriate vendors. The cons include narrowing market opportunities and constricted market scope. Next, we will identify the different aspects of trade intermediaries. Starting in Frankfurt, Germany, L&M will seek a trade intermediary that will serve as a middleman who will receive, account for, register, and store the trips in storage until they are needed. Germany has been found to possess the most distinctive and relevant resources in relation to commercial, financial, and trade laws execution. Currently, the MOB chips will not require a freight forwarder nor customs broker skill set, since the chips do not require any special handling. Ideally, L&M brokerage, with the retention of intermediary services, will benefit, as well as the trade intermediary possessing global customs experience and financial assistance. Preferably, L&M would like to retain a noted intermediary with in-house customs brokerage lineages with proprietary legal experience handling evolutionary electronics due to the newness of the MOB chip and its quickly expanding global market. The following are the noted benefits of trade intermediaries. First, it's an almost risk-free way to begin. Second, you can field test your products for export and international marketing potential. Third, it demands minimal involvement in the export process. And fourth, you have limited liability for product marketing problems. There's always someone else to point the finger at. Next, we will review the noted negatives of trade intermediaries. First, when L&M visits the market, L&M will be a step removed from the actual transaction and may feel out of the loop. Second, the intermediary might also be offering products similar to yours, including directly competitive products to the same customers instead of providing exclusive representation. Constant L&M monitoring is required. After identifying the benefits and negatives of trade intermediaries, L&M's long-term goal and fear associated with that goal are identified. Their long-term goal states that piggybacking L&M mob chips is the most viable indirect export option for the company. This method will allow another non-competing company, which has a consumer and distribution base already in place, to sell L&M's products or services in addition to its own. This will give L&M immediate overseas market access at a nominal expense. This will benefit L&M due to the current business plan not having any intention of ever selling directly to consumers. In regards to the aforementioned goal, L&M's long-term outlook and goals is to expand our export program. It will change rapidly, and when L&M places its product and service in someone else's hands, it's hard to redirect our efforts accordingly. L&M has to take a direct stance in closely monitoring the intermediaries' activities. L&M simply does not want to lose control of the market growth potential. Next, we will identify the terms of sale that L&M will propose to offer their foreign buyers, as well as the rationale behind the decisions. The first Incoterm utilized is CIP, Carriage and Insurance Paid To. This Incoterm will provide proof of export and insurance in the event of stolen merchandise, as a tracking mechanism will be in effect. The next Incoterm utilized is DAT, Delivered at Terminal. DAT will strongly facilitate confirmed delivery to the ports of product implementation, as chips can be immediately registered with appropriate customs representatives by licensed vendors. After identifying the Incoterms to utilize, we will discuss the payment terms for L&M export transactions. First, we will establish a worldwide factoring network with the trade intermediary starting in the European Union. The international factoring business involves networks similar to the use of correspondents in the banking industry. Factors Chain International is the largest of these global networks of factoring organizations. About half the worldwide factoring transactions are through the member companies. European Union intermediary networks enable the export factor to give the seller a working financial partner to engage in factoring in another country. The member companies in each country speak the local language, keep current on who is creditworthy, and are ready to act with the export factor as the seller's overseas financial representative. This means that the seller can do business abroad as if it were next door to the customer. The export factor will work directly with the import factor to represent the seller. Under the supervision of the export factor, the import factor will manage the seller's collections and cover the credit risk. Lastly, we'll identify two payment alternatives that L&M will be utilizing. First is a letter of credit. A letter of credit demonstrates the credibility of the foreign buyer, minimizes credit risk, allows for transaction disputes to be resolved quickly and efficiently since extensive documentation is required, and secures certainty of payment since the risk of non-payment is transferred to the banker. Once a long-standing business relationship has been established, L&M will utilize an open account. By using an open account, the vendor will acquire continuing need of our product and/or service, extensive knowledge of buyer and buyer's country will already be established, and it will increase our competitiveness in the global market as it can encourage new business. Finally, we will discuss the export warnings for L&M. Research has provided L&M the realization that direct exporting is the only way to maximize control, profits, and marketing presence. L&M must quickly solidify an expanding partnership with a direct exporter, i.e. intermediary. This will allow L&M to focus on our business priorities and not to waste time worrying about something that is not working.
In conclusion, L&M Exporting is excited that we could start implementing the product today. The three identified challenges that we have, which we can work with, is one, the technical evolution of the product, and the diverse implementation methods. That being, bringing in the product, it's going to evolve as technology evolves, and as also evolves, the implementation of the product in the EU is going to be our challenge. Working with EU customs will facilitate this. Last, streamline of global supply methods. We want to work it down that we can bring the global supply of the product directly to the market of the EU, thus bypassing we here at L&M. This will streamline the process, cut down on time, and get the product to the customer more efficiently.